Lucy Bennett walked along the dusty road that led from her school to her home in the small town of Riverdale. Iowa, the afternoon sun warmed her face as she adjusted her backpack. She was 12 years old with curly brown hair that bounced when she walked. Her blue eyes noticed everything around her, the birds, the clouds, the way the cornstalks swayed in the breeze. She checked her grandfather's old pocket watch. It was almost 4 o'clock. Her dad would be waiting for dinner. Since her mom died 3 years ago, Lucy had learned to cook simple meals. Tonight she planned to make spaghetti. A bright flash of light appeared above her. Lucy stopped walking and looked up. The light grew bigger and brighter until she had to close her eyes. She felt herself being lifted off the ground. "Dad!" she yelled, but no sound came out of her mouth. Everything went dark. When Lucy opened her eyes, she was lying on a cold metal floor. The room around her was white and smooth with no windows. A single door stood on the far wall. Strange symbols glowed on its surface. Lucy sat up slowly. Her head hurt. She noticed she wasn't alone. About 20 other children sat or stood around the room. None of them were human. One child had blue skin and 4 arms. Another looked like a walking plant with flowers growing from its head. A third had fur all over its body and large pointed ears. All of them looked scared. "Hello," Lucy said to a small creature near her. It had purple skin that seemed to shimmer, like fish scales. "I'm Lucy. Where are we?" The creature backed away, making a series of clicking sounds. A section of the wall suddenly disappeared. A tall being stepped into the room. It had a body like a praying mantis but stood upright on 2 legs. Its head had multiple eyes that moved independently of each other. "Greetings, specimens," said a metallic voice. Lucy realized the insect-like creature wasn't speaking. The words came from a small device on its chest. "You have been selected for the honor of representing your species in the Crival Games." The alien children made various sounds. Some whimpered, others buzzed or clicked. Many began to cry in their own ways. "Each of you comes from a world recently discovered by the Galactic Hegemony," the insect being continued. "Your performance will determine how your species is classified in our records." Lucy raised her hand. The insect turned all its eyes toward her. "Excuse me," she said politely. "I need to go home. My dad is waiting for me." Some of the alien children made sounds. That might have been laughter. The insect being's antenna twitched. "There is no return, human child. The games are a sacred tradition. You will compete until you lose. All juveniles lose eventually. What happens when we lose?" Lucy asked. The insect's mandibles clicked together. "Then your participation ends." Lucy understood what that meant. She had watched enough movies to know when someone was avoiding saying the word death. The insect being left and the wall solidified behind it, Lucy stood up and walked around the room, examining everything carefully. Her father had taught her that in any bad situation, the first step was to gather information. A small creature with fur and large ears approached her. "You are human?" it asked in a high-pitched voice. "Yes," Lucy said with a smile. "My name is Lucy. What's yours?" "I am called Vita. My people are the Nilri." The creature's nose twitched. "You are not afraid?" Lucy shrugged. "Being afraid doesn't help right now. I need to figure out what's happening." "What's happening is we will die," said another voice. A being made of what looked like blue crystal stepped forward. Light pulsed through its body as it spoke. "I am Cole7. My kind has heard of these games. No juvenile has survived more than 3 rounds in centuries." "I'm still going to try, Lucy," said A third alien approached them. This one had 4 arms and amphibian features. "I am Zgrixel," it said in a bubbling voice. "The guards were talking about you, human. They have placed bets on how quickly you will die. Humans are considered very weak." Lucy should have been offended, but instead she found herself smiling. Her father always said people underestimating. "You could be an advantage." "We'll see about that," she said. Far away on a space station orbiting Jupiter, Officer Mason Wells received an urgent message. His dark skin paled as he read the contents. "They've taken a child?" he asked the alien diplomat. Standing before him, the diplomat, a tall humanoid with silver skin, nodded. A female juvenile from your planet, for the Krival Games. Mason slammed his fist on the desk. That's kidnapping. We have treaties. The games predate all treaties, the diplomat said calmly. They are sacred tradition. Nothing can be done. What's the child's name? Mason asked. Lucy Bennett of Iowa region. Age 12 standard years. Mason pulled up information on his screen. I need to contact her family and my superiors. There must be some way to get her back. There is not, the diplomat said. But if it helps, her participation brings honor. To your species, Mason glared at the alien. It would bring more honor to return her safely to her father. The diplomat left, and Mason began searching through galactic law databases. There had to be a loophole, some way to save the girl. Back. In the holding cell, the children were taken to a large room filled with strange food. The guards shoved them forward roughly. When one guard pushed Lucy, she stumbled but caught herself. Instead of looking scared, she smiled at the guard. Thank you, she said. The guard, a reptilian being with scales and a tail, seemed confused by her reaction. It hissed and moved away. Lucy filled a plate with the least strange-looking food and sat next to Vita and Cole 7. The furry alien was shaking. I miss my nest mother, Vita whispered. I miss my dad too, Lucy said. But we need to eat to keep our strength up. Why do you not cry? Cole 7 asked, lights pulsing through its crystal body. Lucy thought about the question. My dad is a military survival specialist. He taught me that, in dangerous situations, keeping calm is the most important thing. What Lucy didn't tell them was about the years she had spent training in mixed martial arts, or the weekends her father had taken her camping and taught her how to find food, build shelters, and navigate by the stars. She didn't mention the emergency drills they practiced or the books on strategy they read together. Instead, she ate her strange food and observed everything around her, the guards' patterns, the other children's abilities, the layout of the rooms. Her father always said knowledge was the best weapon. And Lucy Bennett planned to arm herself very well indeed. The next morning, guards led Lucy and the other children to a large room with curved walls. The ceiling displayed moving stars and planets. In the center stood a tall alien with skin like polished metal. 6 thin arms extended from its torso. I am Director Vox, the metallic alien said. Welcome to the orientation for the Krival Games. The wall lit up with images. Lucy watched carefully as holographic scenes played out. The games consist of several rounds, Vox explained. Each round eliminates contestants until only the strongest remain. No juvenile has completed all rounds in over 300 years, Lucy raised her hand. The other children looked at her with surprise. Yes, human? Vox seemed annoyed at the interruption. What exactly are we being tested for? Lucy asked. Vox's silver face showed no expression. Your species' worth, of course. The galactic hegemony discovers many new worlds. We must determine which deserve our attention. The holograms showed previous contestants facing different challenges, mazes, filled with dangerous plants, underwater caverns, combat with robotic creatures. Lucy noticed most contestants fought aggressively and alone. Many died. Each contestant may keep one personal item for the games. Vox continued. Lucy touched her grandfather's pocket watch in her pocket. Good. She had been worried they would take it. Additionally, contestants may earn advantages through sponsorships. Hegemony officials who find you interesting may provide tools or assistance. Vox pointed to a chart showing different alien species. TIPA contestants possess exceptional strength. Type B have special defensive abilities. Type C have unique sensory capabilities. The director paused at an image of a human silhouette. Type D, like humans, have no remarkable qualities at all. Several alien officials watching the orientation laughed. Lucy kept her face neutral, but she made a mental note. They thought humans were weak. That could be useful. After orientation, the children were taken to training rooms. Lucy watched as her fellow contestants displayed their abilities. ZRIXL. could breathe underwater and climb walls with sticky fingers. Vita could hear sounds from incredible distances. Cole 7 could bend light through its crystalline body. When Lucy's turn came, the trainers seemed bored. Run, one ordered. Lucy ran, but deliberately slower than she could. Jump, she jumped, but not as high as she was capable of. Fight, a simple robot approached. Lucy pretended to struggle before pushing it over in a way that looked lucky rather than skilled. The trainers made notes. Unremarkable, one said. Predicted survival, first round elimination. Lucy hid her smile. During mealtime, a small green alien approached their table. Unlike the guards, this one wore simple clothes and had kind eyes. I am Glix, it whispered. I bring your food. Thank you, Glix, Lucy said. The alien seemed surprised at being thanked. You're strange for a Type D. Why do they call us that? Lucy asked. The hegemony classifies all species, Glix explained while wiping the table. Type D means physically unremarkable with no special abilities. Type Ds rarely advance in the games. Have you worked here long? Lucy asked. Many cycles, Glix said. I have seen many games. Lucy leaned closer. Do you know how the arena works? Glix looked nervous but nodded slightly. Could you tell me about it? Please? The alien hesitated. It is forbidden. I understand, Lucy said, sitting back. Thank you anyway. Later, when Glix collected their trays, Lucy found a small data device under her plate. She quickly pocketed it. That night in their sleeping quarters, Lucy examined the device when no one was watching. It contained schematics of the arena and notes about how the challenges worked. Each round tested different abilities, and the system was designed to favor aggression and individual strength. Lucy thought about what her father would say, look for patterns. Find the real purpose. She studied the data carefully. The games weren't just entertainment or classification. According to Glix's notes, they were a way for the hegemony to identify and eliminate potentially threatening species before they developed further. Lucy noticed a note about humans. Rapid technological advancement, resource consumption concerning. Potentially dangerous if allowed to expand, so that was it. They weren't just testing her. They were deciding if humans should be controlled or even eliminated. Meanwhile, on the Jupiter station, Officer Mason Wells hadn't slept in days. He had contacted Earth authorities and Lucy's father, who was devastated. Mason promised to find a way to save Lucy. He dug through ancient hegemony legal texts until he found something promising. Ambassador, he said to his alien superior, I found a clause allowing diplomatic intervention if a species demonstrates exceptional adaptive qualities warranting further study. The ambassador, a tall blue-skinned being, looked skeptical. No species has ever qualified under that clause. It requires approval from 3 council members. I'll get the approvals, Mason said firmly. The games begin tomorrow, the ambassador warned. You have very little time. Back in the arena complex, guards distributed sleeping pills to the children. All contestants must be well rested. A guard explained. Lucy pretended to swallow hers but hid the pill under her tongue. After the guards left, she spit it out and waited until the other children fell asleep. She crept to the door and used a technique her father taught her to slow her breathing and listen carefully. She could hear guards discussing the next day's challenge. The maze will eliminate at least half of them, one guard said. The human won't last an hour, another replied. The betting pool is heavy against her. Lucy slipped back to her bed, thinking, a maze with dangers. She reviewed Glix's schematics in her mind. Most contestants ran blindly, trying to find the exit as quickly as possible. That's what the hegemony expected. Panic and desperation. She would do something different. The next morning, guards woke the children early. Many looked tired despite the sleeping pills. Vita's furry hands trembled. I'm scared, the small alien whispered to Lucy. Stay close to me, Lucy said. We'll get through this together. Cole 7's crystal body pulsed with doubt. Why would you help another contestant? Only one can win. Lucy shook her head. That's what they want us to think. But I don't believe that's true. The guards led them to a massive circular room. The floor was marked with a red line. Beyond this line, the games begin, Director Vox announced. 20 enter. Fewer will exit. Find your way through the maze to the green zone. Lucy looked at the scared faces around her. Some children were crying. Others looked determined to push everyone else aside. When I sound the signal, step forward, Vox said. Lucy took a deep breath and felt for her grandfather's watch in her pocket. Her father's voice echoed in her mind. When everyone rushes forward, sometimes the smartest move is to step back and observe, a loud horn blared. The games had begun. Most of the children rushed forward when the horn sounded. They pushed and shoved to be first into the maze. Lucy stayed back and watched. She saw panic in their movements. That was exactly what the hegemony wanted. Aren't you going? Asked the guard, prodding Lucy with a shock stick. Just planning my route, Lucy said with a smile. The guard seemed confused by her calm. The maze entrance was a wide tunnel that split into 7 smaller paths. Lucy waited until most children had chosen their routes, then stepped across the red line. She chose the path that looked least popular, a narrow, dark tunnel to the far right. Contestant 19 has finally entered, announced a voice over speakers. Betting odds now updated. Lucy moved slowly through the tunnel, staying close to the wall. Her father had taught her that in most mazes, following one wall consistently would eventually lead to an exit. It might not be the fastest route, but it was reliable. The tunnel curved and twisted. Strange plants grew from the walls, their leaves glowing faintly. Lucy carefully avoided touching them. She heard screams in the distance. After walking for about 10 minutes, she found Zrixel curled in a corner, trembling. The 4-armed alien had a burn on one limb. The plants, Zrixel bubbled. They spray acid if you touch them. Come with me, Lucy said, helping Zrixel up. Stay close to the wall, but don't touch anything. Together they continued through the maze. Lucy noticed small vents in the floor releasing a thin mist. Hold your breath when we pass those, she warned Zrixel. It might be poison gas? Zrixel nodded. My people can hold breath for a long time. They progressed steadily. Twice they heard other contestants approaching and hid in shadows. Lucy noticed cameras watching from the ceiling. She realized the whole arena was entertainment for the hegemony. After an hour, they reached a junction where 3 paths met. Vita was there, her fur singed in places. Lucy, Zrixel! Vita's ears perked up. I thought you were dead. We're taking it slow, Lucy explained. Have you seen the exit? No, but I heard guards talking. Vita pointed to her large ears. The exit is somewhere in the center, Lucy considered this. Following the wall might take too long then. We need to find a way to the center. A loud rumble shook the maze. The floor trembled. What's happening? Zrixel asked, clinging to a wall. They're changing the maze, Vita whispered. I heard them say it reconfigures every 2 hours, Lucy thought quickly. We need higher ground to see the pattern. She pointed to a series of pipes running along the ceiling. Zrixel, with your sticky hands, could you climb up there? The amphibian alien looked uncertain but nodded. I think so. Great, look for a large open area. That's probably the center. Zrixl climbed the wall and onto the pipes. After a moment he called down, I see it. Green lights about 12 sections ahead. A scream echoed through the maze, followed by silence. Another contestant eliminated. Let's go, Lucy said. Zrixel led. From above, they moved faster now with Zrixel guiding them. They avoided 3 traps and a dead end. When they reached a section filled with thick fog, Lucy tore strips from her shirt to make masks. Cover your mouth and nose, she told Vita. Breathe shallow. In the viewing chamber, Director Vox watched with growing interest. The human is helping others? How strange. A tall blue alien in formal robes approached. Director, the human juvenile's behavior is unexpected. None of our models predicted cooperation. It makes no sense, Vox agreed. Only one contestant can advance to the final round. Perhaps it doesn't know the rules? Or perhaps, Vox said slowly, it is employing a strategy we don't understand. On the Jupiter station, Officer Mason Wells was making progress. He had convinced one council member to consider invoking the adaptive qualities clause. The human child is showing unusual problem-solving. Mason argued, showing footage from the maze. This warrants further study. The council member, a gelatinous being floating in a gravity sphere, pulsed thoughtfully. Interesting, but I need more evidence before supporting intervention. Just keep watching, Mason said confidently, though inside he was terrified for Lucy. Back in the maze, Lucy Vita and Zrixel encountered another contestant, Cole 7. The crystalline being was trapped in a narrow passage, too wide to back out but too narrow to continue forward. Help me, Cole 7's body flickered with distress lights. Why should we? Vita asked. One less competitor, Lucy shook her head. That's not how I work, she examined the passage. Cole 7, can you make yourself smaller? No, but I can become slightly flexible if I vibrate at certain frequencies. Lucy looked at the walls. The plants don't react to sound or light, only touch. If you vibrate and we pull, we might get you out. They worked together to free Cole 7. Once released, the crystal being pulsed with gratitude. Why did you help me? Because it was right, Lucy said simply. Now let's find that exit. The group continued, with Zrixel still scouting from above. They were getting closer to the center when they heard a loud hissing. A section of wall dissolved, revealing a massive plant with tentacle-like vines. Guardian plant. Zrixel called from above. Very dangerous. The plant creature lashed out, grabbing for them. Vita froze in terror. Lucy pushed her out of the way just as a tentacle swiped through the air. Run! Lucy shouted. Cole 7 projected bright light beams, momentarily confusing the plant. Light disrupts its sensors, the crystal being explained. Lucy had an idea. Cole 7. Keep flashing. Zrixel, can you reach that pipe above the plant? The amphibian alien nodded and scurried along the ceiling. When I say now, break the pipe, Lucy instructed. She picked up a piece of broken metal from the floor and waited for the right moment. When the plant leaned toward them, Lucy yelled. Now, Zrixel broke the pipe. Water gushed out, dousing the plant. At the same moment, Lucy threw the metal piece at a control panel on the wall. Sparks flew. Electricity arced through the water, shocking the plant. It shriveled and retreated. How did you know that would work? Vita asked in amazement. I didn't for sure, Lucy admitted. But I noticed all the dangerous things here are controlled somehow. Nothing is truly wild. They continued to the center of the maze. Finally, they saw it, a glowing green circle on the ground. The exit data. Contestants were already there. Some looked injured. Many were missing. Out of 20 who started, only 12 remained. As Lucy and her friends stepped onto the green circle, a chime sounded. Round 1 complete, announced Director Vox's voice. 12 contestants advance. Most unusual. Lucy looked at the survivors. Besides her group, there were 8 other alien children, all looking exhausted and afraid. In the viewing chamber, the audience buzzed with surprise. 4 Type D humans had competed in previous games. None had survived the first round. The human advances, Vox noted. And with allies, how done expected. On the Jupiter station, Officer Mason smiled. That's one council member convinced. He told his assistant, I need 2 more. The assistant looked worried. But sir, the second round is even more dangerous. It tests physical capabilities which humans lack compared to other species. Don't underestimate her, Mason said, watching Lucy on the screen. The girl was smiling, that same calm smile she'd worn since the beginning. I think she knows exactly what she's doing. Back in the arena, Lucy and the other survivors were given a brief rest period. Guards provided water and basic medical treatment. Why do you keep smiling? Vita asked Lucy. Lucy checked her grandfather's watch. My dad always says that when things look worst, that's when you need to smile most. It reminds you that you haven't given up. Zrixel looked nervous. What do you think the next round will be? Something to test our physical limits, Lucy said. And I bet they'll expect us to compete against each other. Will we? Cole 7 asked. Lucy's smile widened. That's exactly what they want. But we're going to keep surprising them, a horn sounded. Round 2 was about to begin. The 12 remaining contestants were led into a vast chamber. In the center was a wide lake of bubbling purple liquid. The air smelled sharp and bitter. "Welcome to Round 2, Director Vox announced from a platform above. "You must cross the acid lake to reach the safe zone on the other side. Those who fail will be eliminated." Lucy studied the lake. It stretched about 50 yards across. The surface bubbled and steamed. Along the edges were various items: metal sheets, ropes, and long poles. "Each contestant may take one item to assist in crossing," Vox explained. "Choose wisely." The alien. Children rushed to grab what they thought would help them. Some had natural advantages. One with wings simply flew across. Another with long limbs tried to leap the distance but fell short, splashing into the acid with a terrible scream before guards pulled it out, badly burned. Lucy waited, watching what worked and what didn't. She saw that the acid wasn't extremely fast-acting but would cause severe damage with extended contact. "What should we do?" Vita asked, her voice shaking. "Work together," Lucy replied. She pointed to several large leaf-like plants growing along. "The walls. Zrixel, can you climb up and cut down those plants?" The amphibian alien nodded and scaled the wall. He returned with 6 large, thick leaves. "Perfect," Lucy said. "Cole7, can your light beams cut through materials?" "To some extent," the crystal being replied. "Good, cut these into specific shapes while I get some items." Lucy selected a long pole from the available tools. Other contestants watched curiously as Lucy directed her friends. "We're making a raft," she explained. "The leaves are waterproof. We'll tie them together with strips of fabric from our clothes." Working quickly, they constructed a simple raft. Cole7 used light beams to seal the edges. When finished, they pushed it to the edge of the acid lake. "It might not hold all of us," Lucy admitted, "but it should support 2 at a time." An alarm sounded. "Half the crossing time has elapsed," Vox announced. 6 contestants have reached the safe zone. 6 remain. Lucy looked at her friends. "Vita and Zrixel first. You're the lightest." The 2 aliens carefully climbed onto the raft. Lucy used the pole to push them across, keeping the raft away from the more violently bubbling areas. When they reached the other side, Zrixel tied a rope to the pole and threw it back. "Now you and Cole7, Vita called. Lucy shook her head. "Cole7. It's too heavy for me to balance. You pull the raft back and Cole7 will go alone." The crystal being pulsed with concern. "What about you?" Lucy smiled. "I'll figure something out." After Cole7 crossed safely, only Lucy and one other alien remained. The other contestant, a reptilian child with scales, hissed at Lucy, "No more time for your raft, human." The reptilian grabbed a metal sheet and tried to slide across the acid on it. The sheet began to dissolve halfway across. The alien screamed as acid touched its feet. Lucy had to act fast. The raft was on the other side. She examined what remained: a few metal pieces and some rope. Not enough to build another craft. She remembered something her father taught her about crossing dangerous terrain. Sometimes the best path isn't across but above. Lucy looked up. Pipes ran across the ceiling, similar to the maze. They were far above, but smaller pipes connected to the walls at various points. Using the rope, Lucy made a lasso. She threw it toward a pipe connection and pulled it tight. Then she tied the other end around her waist. "What are you doing?" called Vox, sounding genuinely curious. Lucy didn't answer. She backed up, took a running start, and swung out over the acid lake. The momentum carried her halfway across. She swung her body to gain height, then released the rope at the peak of her swing and grabbed another pipe farther along. Hand over hand, she moved across the pipes until she reached the far side. She dropped down to join her friends just as the final alarm sounded. "Round 2 complete," Vox announced. 8 contestants advance. In the viewing chamber, the hegemony officials were now watching Lucy with undisguised interest. "The human used tools and intelligence rather than physical advantages," noted a senior official. "Unexpected, and yet effective," Vox replied. "Perhaps. Type D classification needs review?" On the Jupiter station, Officer Mason Wells had gained the support of a second council member. The human child shows exceptional adaptive capability, Mason argued. Her methods are unique among all previous contestants. One more test, the council member said. If she survives the combat round, I will support intervention. Mason felt a chill. The combat round was where most contestants died. Back in the arena, the remaining 8 children were given a short rest. Lucy found Glix refilling water containers. You continue to surprise everyone, Glix whispered. No Type D has ever passed 2 rounds. What comes next? Lucy asked. Glix looked nervous. Combat with hunter robots. They are programmed to target weaknesses. For you, they will know humans have slow reflexes compared to other species. Lucy nodded. Are there any control panels in the combat arena? Yes, but they are protected, Glix replied. Guards monitor everything. What about the robots themselves? Do they have any vulnerable spots? Glix hesitated, then drew a quick diagram on the floor with water. Junction points here and here, but you would need great strength to damage them. Lucy memorized the diagram before it evaporated. Thank you, Glix. When the break ended, the contestants were led to a circular arena with high walls. Various obstacles created a complex battlefield: concrete blocks, metal barriers, and shallow trenches. Round 3 will test your combat abilities, Vox explained. Hunter robots will enter the arena. Defeat them or evade them until the time expires. Lucy gathered her friends. We need to stick together. These robots will try to separate us. How? Can we fight them? Vita asked. They are much stronger. We don't fight directly, Lucy said. We outsmart them. The horn sounded. Doors around the arena opened and 8 hunter robots entered. They were about 7 feet tall with multiple limbs and glowing red sensors. Each moved toward a different contestant. The other aliens scattered, running or using their abilities to defend themselves. One winged contestant tried to fly above a robot, but it extended a limb and caught the alien mid-air. Lucy! Zrixel pointed to a robot moving toward them. Its sensors focused on Lucy. Target identified. Human. Threat level minimal, the robot announced. Lucy smiled. That's exactly what she wanted it to think. Cole 7, blind it, she ordered, the crystal being projected intense light at the robot's sensors. The machine stumbled, its targeting systems confused. Zrixel, lead it toward that barrier, Lucy pointed. Vita, warn us if any others approach. They worked together perfectly. While the robot was blinded, Zrixel scurried around it, making noises to confuse it further. The robot followed the sounds. Moving toward a metal barrier, Lucy had noticed something about the arena floor. Certain sections were made of different material. Near the barrier was a section that looked slightly shiny, like it might be conductive. When I say now, everyone get back, Lucy called. She picked up a length of metal pipe from the ground. The robot reached the spot Lucy had identified. Now, her friends retreated. Lucy jammed the pipe between the robot and the barrier, then scrambled away. The pipe created a connection between the robot and what Lucy had guessed correctly was an electrified section of floor. Sparks flew. The robot convulsed and collapsed. 1 down, Lucy said. 7 to go. Around the arena, screams indicated that not everyone was faring as well. Lucy saw another contestant fall. Then another. We need to help the others, she decided, for the next 20 minutes. Lucy and her friends moved around the arena, using similar tactics to disable robots. They saved 2 more contestants, but the others had already been eliminated. When the final horn sounded, only 5 children remained standing. Lucy, Vita, Cole, 7, Strixel, and 1 other alien with spike-like protrusions. Round 3 complete, Vox announced, not hiding the surprise in his voice. 5 contestants advanced to round 4. In the viewing chamber, silence had fallen. Officials stared at the screens in disbelief. The human passed the combat round. One whispered, "Impossible." Vox studied Lucy carefully. The girl was dirty and tired, but still wearing that strange smile. "Bring her to me," Vox ordered. "I want to speak with this human before the next round." Guards entered the arena to collect the remaining contestants. As they approached Lucy, she checked her grandfather's watch and took a deep breath. Round 4 would be the hardest yet, but Lucy Bennett was ready to keep surprising them. 2 guards led Lucy to a large room with walls made of shimmering blue material. Director Vox stood waiting, all 6 of his arms clasped behind his back. His metallic skin reflected the lights overhead. "Human child," Vox said. "You have surprised?" "US?" Lucy remained silent, waiting. "No Type D species has ever passed 3 rounds, Vox continued. "You have defied all our predictions." "Maybe your predictions were wrong," Lucy suggested. Vox moved closer, studying her. "What is your secret, hidden abilities?" "Special training?" Lucy shrugged. "I just don't give up easily." "And this habit of helping other contestants," Vox said. "It makes no sense. The final round allows only 1 survivor." Lucy looked directly at Vox. "Why? Who made that rule?" The director seemed taken aback by the question. "It has always been this way. Only the strongest deserves to represent their species." "But that's not how humans work," Lucy explained. "We're not the strongest or fastest. We survive because we work together." Vox made a dismissive gesture. "Irrelevant. Round 4 begins in 1 hour. It will test your mental resilience. Few can withstand it." As Lucy was led back to the waiting area, she found her friends looking worried. "What did the director want?" Vita asked. "To understand why I'm still alive," Lucy said. "I don't think they know what to make of humans." Zrixel looked nervous. "I heard guards talking about round 4. They say it shows you your worst fears." Lucy nodded. "We need to remember it's not real. Whatever we see, it's just a trick to break." US? On the Jupiter station, Officer Mason Wells was working frantically. He had just received word that Lucy had survived 3 rounds, but the 4th was notorious for breaking contestants mentally. "I need to speak with the 3rd council member now," he demanded. "The council member is watching the games," his assistant sighed. "No interruptions allowed." Mason pounded his fist on the desk. "Then I'm going there myself." He grabbed a data pad with all his evidence and headed for the transport. He had to reach the council member before round 4 ended. Back in the arena, the 5 remaining contestants were taken to separate small rooms with a single chair in each. "Round 4 is individual," a guard told Lucy. "You will face your fears alone." Lucy sat in the chair. Metal restraints automatically closed around her arms. A helmet lowered from the ceiling onto her head. "Round 4 begins," came Vox's voice. "Prepare for neural simulation." Lucy closed her eyes and focused on her breathing, a technique her father had taught her for staying calm. When she opened her eyes, she was no longer in the room. She stood on a rainy street. A car was overturned, flames rising from its engine. Lucy recognized it immediately. It was her mother's car. "No," she whispered. A woman's voice called from inside the burning vehicle. "Lucy, help me!" Lucy felt her heart racing. This was the accident that had killed her mother 3 years ago. Her worst memory, her deepest pain. "It's not real," Lucy reminded herself. "It's just a simulation." But it felt real. The rain on her face, the heat from the flames, her mother's voice calling for help. Lucy forced herself to think clearly. The hegemony wanted her to break down, to give in to despair. That's how they eliminated contestants in this round. Instead of running away from the painful scene, Lucy walked toward it. "I know you're not really my mom," she said. "And I know I can't change what happened." The simulation flickered slightly. "My mom died," Lucy continued, her voice growing stronger. "It was terrible, and I miss her every day. But I've learned to live with that pain. It doesn't control me." The burning car began to fade. The simulation tried to show her other fears, being alone, failing to save her friends, but Lucy recognized each one as false. "My fear doesn't define me," she said firmly. "My actions do." With a sudden jolt, Lucy was back in the small room. The helmet raised and the restraints opened. A guard stared at her in shock. "You completed the simulation," he said. "How?" Lucy stood up, legs shaky but determination intact. "By facing it." In the control center, Vox and the other officials watched in disbelief. On screens showing the other four contestants, they saw only failure. Vita was curled in a ball, whimpering. Zrixel had gone catatonic. Cole Seven's crystalline body had cracked under mental strain. The spiked alien was thrashing against restraints, lost in panic. Only the human completed round 4. An official announced. Vox couldn't hide his amazement. Impossible. Bring her to the final chamber. Meanwhile, Officer Mason Wells had reached the council chambers. The third council member, an ancient being with multiple eyes, watched the games on a large screen. "Counselor," Mason said breathlessly, "I request intervention under the Exceptional Adaptive Qualities Clause. The human child has demonstrated unprecedented abilities." The counselor pointed a long finger at the screen. "Watch." On the screen, Lucy was being led to a circular chamber with a raised platform in the center. Director Vox stood waiting. "Lucy Bennett of Earth," Vox announced formally. "You are the only contestant to complete round 4. According to tradition, you now face the final test." Lucy looked around. "Where are my friends?" "They failed," Vox said simply. "Their participation is over?" A door opened and guards brought in Vita, Strixel, and Cole 7. They looked broken, both physically and mentally. "The final test is simple," Vox explained. "To prove your species' worth, you must eliminate your competitors yourself." A small weapon appeared on a pedestal beside Lucy. "Choose one to terminate, and the others will be spared. Refuse, and all will be eliminated, including you." Lucy looked at the weapon, then at her friends. Their eyes showed fear and resignation. They believed they were about to die. Without hesitation, Lucy picked up the weapon, examined it briefly, then set it down. Again. "No," she said simply. Vox's metallic face showed confusion. "You refuse? Then you all die?" "I don't think so," Lucy said, still smiling. "Because now I understand what these games really are." She turned to face the viewing cameras directly. "The Crival games aren't about finding the strongest species. They're about finding the most ruthless. The ones who will do anything to survive, even hurt others." Lucy's voice grew stronger. "But being willing to sacrifice others isn't strength. Real strength is standing together, even when it's hard. Especially when it's hard." In the council chamber, the third council member leaned forward with interest. Mason held his breath. "You've been testing the wrong things all along," Lucy continued. "Humans aren't special because of our strength or speed. We're special because we choose cooperation over competition when it matters most." She looked at her friends. "I won't hurt them. Not for anything, so do what you have to do." Vox raised a hand to signal the guards. But before he could give the order, a new voice filled the chamber. "Intervention approved under Section 87, Exceptional Adaptive Qualities." The council numbers appeared on a large screen. The human species demonstrates unique collaborative problem-solving deserving of further study. All contestants are to be released immediately. Vox seemed stunned. "But the game's tradition is superseded by council authority," the third council member stated. "The human child has shown us something new, something valuable." Officer Mason Wells stepped into view. "Lucy Bennett, on behalf of Earth, I'm here to take you and your friends home." Lucy's smile grew wider. She looked at Vox. Sometimes winning means changing the game. As Lucy and her friends were led away, Vox called after her, "Human child, one question. Why do you smile in the face of danger? No other species does this." Lucy paused and thought about her grandfather's words, inscribed inside the watch she carried. "Because a smile reminds us that fear is temporary, but so is life. So we might as well face both with courage." 1 month later, Lucy sat in her backyard in Iowa looking up at the stars. Her father brought her a mug of hot chocolate. "Any word from your friends?" he asked. Lucy nodded. "Vita's planet joined the diplomatic corps. Zrixel's people are teaching humans about underwater farming. And Cole 7's crystalline technology is helping us build better spaceships." "And the games?" "Ended," Lucy said. "The council replaced them with cooperative challenges. They're calling it the Bennett Protocol." Her father looked proud. "All because you refused to stop smiling." Lucy touched her grandfather's watch, all because I remembered what matters. We're stronger together than we ever are alone. Above them, the stars twinkled. In the vast universe that no longer seemed quite so frightening, the end.